Last episode, function calling let the model reach out of its box and fetch something it did not have. Now we point that ability at the single most valuable thing a model lacks: knowledge. Because for all their fluency, language models have two hard limits we keep running into. First, their knowledge is frozen at the moment training ended, so anything newer than that cutoff simply does not exist to them. And second, they have never seen your private world. Your company's documents, your product manual, your personal notes. None of it. And here's the dangerous part. When a model does not know something, it usually does not stay quiet. It fills the gap with a confident, fluent, completely made-up answer. We call that hallucination, and it is the thing standing between a clever demo and something you can actually trust. RAG is the most important fix we have. Quick note before we dig in. If you find this useful, subscribe and drop a topic you want explained in the comments. Now, let us get into it. Here is the whole idea in one sentence. Retrieval Augmented Generation, or RAG, gives a model access to outside knowledge by first retrieving the relevant documents from a data source and placing them into the prompt. So the model answers from real information you provided instead of only from its frozen memory. The cleanest way to feel why that works is an old image from school. The open book exam. Picture a raw language model as a student answering from memory alone. Fluent, fast, and sometimes confidently wrong because human memory blurs and invents, and so does theirs. Now picture handing that same student the textbook, open to exactly the right page, and saying, "Answer using this." Everything changes. They are no longer straining to recall. They are reading. And they can point to the line they got it from. That is RAG. Before the model answers, you retrieve the passages most relevant to the question, you drop them into the context window we met in episode 4, and you instruct the model to answer from those passages. You have turned a memory test into an open book test. The mechanics, in brief, because we build the whole thing next episode, go like this. When a question comes in, you search a knowledge base for the chunks of text most relevant to it. And that search is not crude keyword matching. It is the meaning-based search we built back in episode 3 with embeddings, finding passages that match the intent of the question even when the words differ. You take those retrieved passages, paste them into the prompt alongside the question, and let the model answer grounded in them. Retrieve, then generate. Hold the details. The point right now is the shape of it. Now the question that really matters, and the one in this episode's title. There is another way to teach a model new information called fine-tuning, where you continue training the model on your own data so it soaks into the model's weights. So why not just fine-tune the model on all your documents and skip the retrieval? Because for facts, fine-tuning is the wrong tool, and it is worth understanding exactly why. Fine-tuning is teaching, not memorizing. It is brilliant at shaping how a model behaves, its tone, its style, its format, a particular skill. But it does not reliably plant specific facts you can look up later. The model absorbs patterns, not a clean, queryable record. So it might recall your fact, paraphrased and slightly wrong, or not at all. That is the first problem. The second is that facts change. A fine-tuned model is a snapshot frozen on the day you trained it, and the moment a price, a policy, or a person changes, your only fix is to train all over again. The third is trust. When a fine-tuned model answers, you cannot see where the answer came from, so you cannot check it or cite it. And the fourth is access. Once a fact is baked into the weights, it is baked in for everyone. You cannot let one user see it and hide it from another. RAG inverts all four. The facts live outside the model. In a database, you can update the instant something changes. No retraining required. Every answer can cite the exact passage it came from, so it is checkable. And because retrieval happens per question, you can control what each user is allowed to pull back. So here's the rule of thumb worth memorizing. Fine-tune to change how the model behaves. Use RAG to change what the model knows. Skill and style, fine-tuning. Facts and knowledge, retrieval. One honest note, so you do not hear this as a war. It is not strictly either-or, and serious systems sometimes use both, fine-tuning the voice and using RAG for the facts. But when your goal is to keep a model current, grounded, and honest about real information, RAG is the workhorse and fine-tuning is the specialist you call in less often. We give fine-tuning its own proper episode much later in the series. So how does this land depending on who you are? As an individual, you have almost certainly used RAG without the name. Every chat with your PDF tool, every Ask This website assistant is Retrieval Augmented Generation, fetching the right passage and answering from it. As a startup, RAG is the fastest, honest path to a real AI feature on your own data. You can stand up a support assistant grounded in your help articles in days with no model training at all, and update it just by editing a document. And as a large enterprise, RAG is how a bank or a hospital safely puts AI on top of millions of internal records. The information stays current. Every answer is traceable to a source, access can be controlled, and none of that sensitive data ever has to be poured into a training run. Control, freshness, and citations all at once. So let us bring it home. A raw model answers from frozen memory and hallucinates when it does not know. RAG hands it the open book, retrieving the relevant passages and letting it answer from real information. And it beats fine-tuning for facts, because the knowledge lives outside the model, where it can be updated instantly, cited honestly, and permissioned per user, while fine-tuning is for changing behavior, not storing facts. Now, we have talked about what RAG is and when to reach for it. Next episode, we get our hands dirty and actually build the thing, end to end. How you load your documents, split them into chunks, turn them into vectors, store them, and then retrieve and answer at the moment a question arrives. We build a RAG pipeline, step by step. That is the core of it. If this helped, hit like and subscribe, ring the bell for the next deep dive, and tell me in the comments what you want broken down next. Thanks for watching.